So the question of the day is, what does your well, it's an either kind of an either or your choice of flavor on this question. So either what does your character's name represent to them, or why, as a player, did you choose your character's name?
Oh, can I do both?
Yeah, if you want to do both, you can certainly do both.
Okay. The both option is first, what did I as a player come up with? Was I wanted a like a gross carny guy, and I thought of like what would be like a gross carny Midwestern plains traveler Joe Dirt kind of name would be something kind of like Otis but grosser Grotus.
Yeah, Grody. Yep.
And then I realized Grody, yeah, he's just a Grody guy. And then I realized what I had that implanted in my head was that I had been playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, or yeah, Pathfinder Kingmaker on Steam, and there's a character in there who's a dwarf who's lawful neutral, and he's pledged to the Pathfinder god Grotus, who is a lesser god, but he is like the janitor of the gods. He's technically the oldest because after every apocalypse, he's the one who sweeps up the dust into like the cosmic dustpan. And so it can be reborn into the next set of gods and the next worlds that will come into apocalypse eventually. And so he's like the god of nihilism because like it's all he's a character who casts like, oh, Grotus knows it's meaningless. Like
That's
he'll
great.
cast a healing, like if you tell him to like cast mass heal wounds, he'll go like, just delaying the inevitable.
That's pretty great.
So to that's what was getting in my head. Grotus now lives by that code of like flaunting death in a different way, as like how would a grody weird carny guy treat the fact that we're all gonna die? Just fucking lighting farts and trying to get killed, in a hilarious way.
That's great.
Um, to to be also um super thoughtful and deep about names. Maz's name came because I wanted to make a goblin named Mozzie Rocks, like mossy rocks.
Mm.
Nice.
And so her name is Moz because it sounds like moss.
And the
The
mossy
end.
rock is hard and green like a cool goblin.
For a moment when you were starting into that, I thought it was gonna be you were thinking about mozzarella sticks or something for a moment. But
No,
I'm glad it is this.
because moss and she likes rocks. The end.
All right, fair enough.
I honk.
That is pretty good. That's pretty
You're
clear.
a honker.
Can't get any more direct than that.
Says the most with the least, says it best.
I honestly don't have a good story for my name. I usually just kind of go in a name generator, pick like 5 I like, and then narrow it down.
That's fair enough. Fair, valid.
Yeah, it was actually kind of uh humorously serendipitous when uh we started talking about Braz and Maz because I already had Maz's name picked out, and we talked about maybe having twin goblins, and she was like, "Oh, good, that fits with my goblin being Braz, so let's do it."
Convenient. All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right.
I can come up with great backstories. I'm not good with names.
Yeah, that's always gonna be a little tricky. Yeah.
Not everybody's name is perfectly idiosyncratic and backwards compatible with the lore.
Exactly.
Just because Sam is extra doesn't mean we all have to be.
I don't have the energy to be extra.
Are you
Energy.
proficient in the weapons that your characters are proficient in? I am.
Oh boy. All right. Anybody want to give us a quick rundown of what we got up to last time?
We dusted Mistress Dustlight, that's for sure.
You sure did.
Honker took her face off.
He sure did.
As was foretold by Hawker to every NPC possible. We have zero plausible deniability.
Yeah, right.
Hawker told everyone as if they were trying to get somebody to stop them.
We'll just always say, as the prophecy foretold.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't have to say that Honker's the one who made up the prophecy.
Honker might not live by a lot of laws, but one of them is if you say you're going to do something, you fucking do it. They took off a Dustlight's face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Honker never lies.
But yet somehow I was still surprised when it happened.
You looked in the bag, marked dead bird, and it was a dead bird.
I was like, what the hell?
We don't actually have a lot of written notes, but from the dome we got that, we encountered Mistress Dustlight after navigating successfully through their mirror maze, encountered her ACMR paramour,
Mm-hmm.
and convinced him that through the morality and persuasion that like actually you got worked. Buddy.
Yeah, you got a little hoodwinked there, man.
You've been bamboozled, and she's not really who you think she is. And so the guy, I'm sorry, I didn't write down their name, but
It was Maziel, I believe.
Yeah, Maziel, great, wonderful archangel name. And he stood back from hurting us, but would not allow like grievous harm to come until we finally did grievous.
Yeah, until we solar face, but yeah,
against Mistress Tucker.
He's gonna carry that weight.
Yeah, and so I think now we're on like kind of the victory lap with the literal somebody had to restrain him or turn him away while the actual face carving happened.
Mm-hmm.
We were about at that point, and leveling up, which I don't think I did. So you can give a better summary.
Yeah. So yeah, today, like you said, is kind of a victory lap. We've come to the end of this particular chapter of the adventure, and so a couple things we're doing. First off, we're leveling up. We should all be leveling up to 9, and with whatever that entails. And Maz, your thing should work, because you are not imaginary anymore. Hooray!
Bet.
Bet. But yeah, so yeah, first things first, level up to 9, so go ahead and jump into your trackers and do whatever you got to do in there. And if you get anything cool, let us know.
No.
I got to jump out for a second on Fantasy Grounds. My computer's being weird. I got to restart.
That's fine. And then once we get our level ups all in place, we've been here in Escadar for a bit. We've kind of done like a show that we ran, but there's been just kind of continual background stuff happening with that, and it's gotten to the point where the entertainment's pretty saturated here. Everybody who's wanted to come see the show has pretty much come seeing the show, but we're going to have a last hurrah with that, and it's time to move on to somewhere else. Where that is, we don't know. Perhaps we'll find out. But we also know there's kind of this vague, there's other Aeon towers. Where might they be? We did get some vague information that, and we all know they're kind of around this area. But the only one that's on this island you already did. But we have some vague information that the other ones are over on the Isle of Kortos, which is just to the southeast of us. But it's the kind of main central island of Pathfinder world. It's also where the city of Absalom is located. But there's plenty of other island outside of the city as well to check out. But yeah, we'll see what gets us over that direction. But But yeah, for now, our last hurrah here, and we have a few new things that we will kind of get to with that. So one, we had a few new people who joined the circus that we got from Dusklights, and with those additions, in addition to having some new performers that we can throw into the mix to fill up performance slots, um, they also brought new traits to the show that we are able to use, which is especially serendipitous since because of the level ups that we've done recently, you now have access to use 2 different traits in your tricks instead of just one. And we could already do 2 checks before we already did that one. But there is let me share this just so we have it around. So this is what I had noted down that we did in the past. And if we want to change this up, if you want to like rethink what your trick is, you certainly can. There's a list at the bottom of that of the currently accessible traits to us, which are the ones that we had before already, and then there's a few new ones that I've added on there, which are from Flynn and Ufi and Miss Dancer, who are the 3 new folks that we've added. One other thing to think about while we're kind of reformulating our tricks with these new traits that we have access to. See if you can come up with like a name for your trick. Whatever you want it to be. That might not come to you until you've kind of laid down what kind of traits and things you want to use. But things like there's like an example one in here that has one. Here we go. Example act. Okay, yeah. So like, for example, this example one that it has here in the book, the character has their signature trick, which they call the deep sea dunk, and it involves them doing a few different things, shackling their hands together, being dropped in a water tank, trying to escape, some stuff like that. Another character they have examples here is like the incredible manticore tamer, or whatever. So get yourself a stage name for your trick while we're getting that. But for now, worry about the level up stuff. We'll get to the circus planning in a moment here. Has anyone come across anything interesting on their level 9 so far?
Let's see. Now instead of just being able to make 2 like simple alchemist items, I can do 2 of pretty much anything I have.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right.
It looks like if I succeed at will saves now, it's just a critical success across the board.
Oh, wow.
And then
That'll come in handy.
I took a feat that kind of goes with things called Wheedle and Jig, where you make capering motions and silly sounds to captivate onlookers. And you can cast Enthrall as a 3rd level innate spell once per day.
I love the name of that feat. That's really great.
Yeah.
Wheedle and Jig.
And the name of my act is I'm Honker and the Spooky Kids.
All right, I gotta add this on here. Okay, let's see. Hunker, trait, musical checks, performance.
And then I think, can I use performance and acrobatics for my do?
Yeah. So like the checks can be whatever checks you want to use. Like some of them, like sometimes depending on like the traits that you want your trick based off of, you might get like some extra things from that, but you can really do anything. Okay, so performance and acrobatics on your checks. Trait wise, you had musical before, but are you want to stick with that or switching up to 2 new ones
It's
entirely?
comedy. I do comedy.
Okay, I'd say probably musical probably
Common.
still fits for that
Yeah.
trait then, but you do have an additional trait you can incorporate now. Now that you guys
Where
are
is there? So I have the the tricks handout that you have for us. Is there a handout that shows the traits?
yeah. So if you click on that note at the very top for trick trait bonuses, so that is a list of all, and this is including ones that we don't have access to
Oh,
right
okay,
now.
there it is. Okay, yep, I got
Yeah.
it. I got it.
Yeah, so like musical, you get a +1 to trick checks that use performance, so you're going to get a +1 if you do a performance check from that. But yeah, as long as it's in that accessible traits list, because we get those, like that list expands the more NPCs we recruit. So there's going to be like new NPCs in the future that we run into, or new people that we can bring into the circus, and they may have new traits to expand our potential repertoire.
All right, GM, don't hate me. I forget.
Okay.
So I added a space because I always have to manually make these.
Right, yeah, I know.
So I got the space in the title added. I forget where do I go to add all the other things to it? Is it right click on the magnifying glass?
Okay, so the magnifying glass. So yeah, if you click on the magnifying glass, that should open the. Actually, let me look at your sheet. What is the what's the thing you're adding right now?
Elixir of Life Moderate.
Elixir of Life Moderate. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so it was if you right click on like Elixir of Life Moderate, there's the things for like add spell action, and then you have your add cast, add damage, add heal, add effect, or whatever. And so you do like add cast and then put, whatever dice in for that. The damage dice in the damage one.
So if this one's just like a heal thing, I would just do the add heal on it.
Yeah. Is that just like basically like a potion? It's just a flat, like you use it and it heals?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you do add spell action, add heal. And then you would put whatever number of dice.
So, can my act be magical and musical?
It can be, yeah. You can have 2 traits. So yeah, magical is one of the ones we have access to now. That came from Ufi, the aquakineticist. So let me put that in here. Did you find? So now that you've added that heal, if you click on the magnifying glass on that like heal line, it'll open up this thing, and then it says like heal, and then there's dice X multiplier math whatever, and you can drop the dice in there. Do you see that?
No.
Okay, all right, so if you're looking at your actions tab, you'll have Elixir of Life Moderate. Click the magnifying glass to the right of Elixir of Life Moderate, and now it should expand, and you'll see a line that says like heal, targets, type, HP, that sort of stuff.
Okay, I see.
Yep, click the magnifying glass to the right of that.
Okay.
And then in this window, this is where you would drop in like the dice. So like if it's, a D4, you drop in a D4 times, whatever multiplier plus any whatever. Put all that in there accordingly, and then it should work as target someone, Elixir of Life, heal.
Oh, cool. I figured. Thank you.
Yeah,
How do I edit the traits of my Stumbling Strike, which is like a custom action I made to fit the monk thing?
Let me see. Let's take a look.
Because it's supposed to now get, as a new thing you get for level 9, super exciting. It's called Metal Strikes. So by channeling your energy, you can kind of do allomancy. So your fists count as like either silver or cold iron. The effects on
Ooh.
undead and fey and infernal types, they are going to take pure damage instead of half damage.
Okay. Interesting.
So I need to know how to add that to either like traits or properties or something.
I think so. If you're looking at your stumbling strike and then click on the magnifying glass, I believe for that you would put those. There's that line that says type under the damage. So I'm guess like with those, since it like affects like undead or whatever or things. I think there's like a type of damage that's associated with those. With those, like, is it like a like radiant or
Yeah,
something like?
I'll put in like silver or cold iron, whatever it says. I'm looking on Nethys on the other tab.
Yeah. I think you would put in stuff like that, and that should apply. Because typically with those like uh attack types, like piercing and bludgeoning or whatever else, like those typically would be listed there. So if those are in the database, it should use them.
It says cold iron and silver, but like I know with traits, when I'm typing in traits, it identifies them one word at a time.
Okay.
Because like if I typed in on Stumbling Strike agile, backstabber, finesse, non-lethal, and when I double click on it now, it has definitions for agile, backstabber, finesse, non-lethal, and armed.
Okay.
I'm thinking if I can add to that list, and then I can put in silver, and I don't know if it'll recognize cold iron as two words, or if I type it in as one. Because it seems to be going by word. There's no commas separating these words, so it must be separating. It must be recognized.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me look up how. Add. See. Let me look up how. Add.
Or if you just look up metal strikes, because every monk will have to go through. Every monk goes through this. It's part of growing up as a monk. Apparently, when you hit level 9, every monk gets the metal strikes.
Yeah. Well, son, when you grow up, sometimes your hands will get hard.
Sometimes they get hard as metal, hard as silver and steel and cold iron.
Hey, Mook, for some reason it's not letting me put anything into this window.
Into that heal window that you're looking at?
It's not letting me add anything other than the plus. I need 5d6 plus 12.
Okay, let me see if it lets me.
It's like not letting me click on anything. Why did it let you?
Probably because I run it, but I don't know why you should be able to.
Yeah, it wasn't doing anything.
Okay, 5d6 plus 12. That's a nice heal. God damn.
Right? Okay, thank you.
Okay, 5d6 plus 12. All right, let's keep looking. Let's see. How do you
Oops.
trying to see if I can find any threads in Fantasy Grounds. Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it must be this like type line, because if I start typing in like this type area instead of the traits, if I look back over at your actions page, it's like adding it to the end of the damage, so it's like 1d8 plus 5 cold iron.
Okay.
So I would say probably just list those all there, because I assume if this reads those like it does other kind of properties, it would like apply that accordingly if you're fighting something that is like weak to that or something, and if it doesn't, we can roll whatever. The only other thing I
If it
wonder...
comes up, if I ever roll damage and it comes up as like partial damage resisted, I will bring this up.
Okay, that sounds good. The only other thing I wasn't sure about is does the base damage for this, should this be going up at all with your level? Because I see it's like 1d8 plus 5. Like, should that be more than that now? I feel like that should, right?
Let me check here.
And I feel like that kind of goes for like a couple, yeah. Like, I know like Braz's like melees and stuff. I feel like everyone's damage is a lot lower than it should be. Like, I don't know if that's...
I was actually thinking that last session.
Yeah, cause I look at like the stuff like as written in like the books, and then like what we're usually like rolling on stuff in terms of like damage, and it just feels like, you know, like if we're level 9 and we hit something with like, you know, a club or something, I feel like it would like do more than like a a D10. I feel like it would be more than that, you know?
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I have stuff like my monk expertise makes the DC for my monk based stuff expert instead of trained. So it'll be more likely that that stun strike will land.
Hmm.
And with metal strikes, fewer things will be resistant to the damage I'm putting out.
I don't know if you've seen any of this at all in your games, quick, with regards to damage stuff.
I just looked at my club only does 1d6 plus 1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, because like
That
I've...
should not be that at a level 9, I would think.
Yeah,
Your weapon. When did you acquire that club?
I
I've
guess
had it since
that's...
the beginning.
I guess that's
Okay.
true, because like we did get like that rapier, like that one rapier that Maz has got. That one's 2d8 plus 6.
I guess I just never thought about it because I don't use my melee weapon that much.
Okay. Well, if we want to do a little shopping in Escadar before we go, we can certainly do so, because yeah, that might be part of it, because like I know we've had like a few weapons and things that we've picked up, because I know like Maz has that rapier.
Right.
Honker, you've got that spear. Yeah,
I got accordion punches.
yeah, and you got the accordion punch. I mean, although the claw, that deep dread claw is still just 1d8 plus 1, but it has some other effects as well.
Yeah, I probably need to get a better melee weapon. Sometimes I do have to actually hit things.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy like a warhammer or something, and then get runes on it. And that'll help your damage and that kind of stuff. Because it's not that, like, some of our spells and our abilities will scale us, but it's mostly we're gonna hit more often.
Mm-hmm.
And then we should be buying more weapons and rather than clowning around so much.
We are clowns.
What? Let me see if I can look up. Oh yeah, I forgot that is the thing with like Pathfinder is like the weapon improving is like with runes and whatnot. Um, and like inscribing those into like the weapon for added, bonuses and whatnot. That's another thing we should probably do. Even a couple of you that already have found like some slightly better weapons, we could probably inscribe some runes in those, and that would probably help with like the rolls too, because some of the stuff that we've been fighting has like really, really high AC. Like I feel
You don't say.
well, yeah, because like I feel like a lot of the stuff in like this last bit, like everything was like close to like 25 AC or something, if not more. And I wonder, yeah, I feel like the runes and things, like that's something I'm not like super familiar with how that works in this system. Um,
Okay, so my class DC now,
okay,
my stunning strike should be 27, I think.
okay,
They have to make a fortitude save against 27.
okay. Otherwise, they'll get stunned. Okay,
I believe. Yes.
but yeah, that checks out to me. That sounds right.
Ooh, I think I came up with an action name for myself.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, because she always wears like crystal all over her to kind of be sparkly when she's doing her fire stuff.
Okay,
Her action name, Sparkles.
sparkles. All right.
Because you know what, she may be a nitty gritty goblin, but like she still wants to be pretty.
Do you have a preferred adjective to go with sparkles? I feel like it needs a little bit more
It does
zhuzh,
need more.
Yeah, like the sparkles or sparkles the
The blazing sparkles.
Oh, I love that.
Let's do that. There we go. The blazing sparkles.
Because you can guarantee there's been a few times in the past that I ran out with my butt on fire.
Okay. So I know you said you did have the fire trait before. It sounds like that's still sticking around. What new trait are you wanting to add in from our
I better take a look at that. Let me look real quick.
here?
Oh, because do we get two of them now? Oh, I have it saved.
Yeah. Let me. Here, I put the note in the chat thing if you accidentally closed it. Yeah, the list of accessible traits. Actually, let me move the list of accessible traits up to the top of the list instead of the bottom of the list. That would make that a little better. Oops.
And I'm sorry, it's been a really long time. We talked about this before, but with two traits, how does that work then when we do our performance?
So basically, the thing with the traits is the. Let me pull up the thing here. So the traits are basically a kind of like a creative jumping off point of as like what kind of thing are you doing in your performance? So Honker's doing comedy stuff, and what was the second one? It was magical, right? And now he's incorporating some magical elements into it as well. What exactly that will be, we'll find out when there is a performance, and Honker describes what that is for us. But those traits give you different bonuses to your checks. So like that note at the very top of the tricks note has like the trick trait bonuses. So for Honker, for instance, he picked musical and magical. So if he's rolling his checks, he'll have a +1 to performance checks and or it's magical. He can expend a spell slot to add excitement per spell level to his performance with those traits. So in your case, like you have fire, so if you use intimidation checks, you'll get a +1 to those, and then whatever the second one is from that list of accessible traits. And you can change your checks, like if you don't want to do intimidation acrobatics, if you want to do like intimidation something else, like we can change all this around. But you have 2 traits, 2 checks.
Okay.
So I would say, like, I do an aerial trick that uses an acrobatics check, so it gets a +1 on top of my regular acrobatics. And then I have another trick that's a water trick, and it uses my athletics.
Yeah, you could do something like that. So like just to help refresh your memory, because I know it's been a while and this whole like circus thing is a little complicated. Um, there's an example one in here that just kind of goes over how it works, and I think it kind of makes this make a little more sense. Let me find that page again. Putting on a show. Okay. So this is what it gives me for an example one. So this you can kind of let this percolate in your head. So for the second act of this week's circus show, Gerard the Rogue is attempting his signature trick, the deep sea dunk, which involves shackling his hands together before he is dropped in a water tank, from which he must escape. So because he is a 4th level PC, Gerard's trick can have 1 trick trait, and he can choose from one of 2 different checks whenever he performs the deep sea dunk. When he last leveled up, Gerard chose the Agile trait for his trick and decided his available checks would be a Thievery check representing his ability to undo his manacles, and a Fortitude saving throw representing his ability to hold his breath. So that's kind of
we picked a check and a save.
The check, like the check can be a save. Like the checks can be a skill check. They can be an attack roll. They can be a save. Like for an example, on the attack roll one, like I remember seeing an example where someone was like, they tossed like pins up into the air and then threw daggers into them. And so one of their checks was they did an attack roll to successfully spear the flying pins with their daggers.
Okay, and we're encouraged to make tricks that have different traits, because we can only use a trait or a certain check how many times? Or
Some of them, let's see. There's a couple of them that get like a bonus, like a minus if you use it multiple times. Like the agile one goes down if you do it multiple times. So another example that it gives here, just to kind of help with this more, it has like this character Janelle, who is a ranger and is performing as the incredible manticore tamer with some help from her lion animal companion in a costume. And so she has chosen the animal trait for her trick, and she uses nature for her trick check, nature and intimidation for her trick checks, representing her ability to 1, keep the animal under control, and 2, her ability to scare the audience with her stunt.
Okay, that makes it. I guess I'm just trying to figure out what would work for me because, like, I have the fire one right now, which is for like intimidation, but like my intimidation score sucks. So I'm
Yeah,
just trying to
and
see
like
what would be a better combination.
yeah, and like you don't. I mean, like I said, your checks don't have to be skill checks. Like if you want to do some kind of like saving throw related to something with your fire, Because like at least in the way that these examples frame it, you want to think about like what these checks are representing in the like feat of daring you're performing. Um, so like with the dunk, it was thievery is undoing the manacles, fortitude is holding his breath, and and then with Janelle here, nature for can I control my animal companion, and intimidation for can I make this look scary for the audience.
I think what's throwing me is just kind of the names, because like I think what I'm doing in mine, I usually am doing like performance or acrobatics, because like of course I'm eating fire, and then I'm usually like kind of doing some kind of
Mm-hmm.
flip something. So it seems like maybe like aerial and musical, because those are the skills. Just I'm not doing anything in the air or musical.
Mm-hmm.
But is this thought process making any sense out loud?
Yeah, I can understand like the confusion there with like don't feel like you have to pick traits and checks that give you bonuses. Like I mean, it obviously it's nice if you get a little bonus. Most of these are a +1 bonus, so it's not like a huge bonus, but it's still a bonus. Um, but like if you have an interesting idea for a trick that incorporates fire and you know animals somehow, maybe Mr. Tickles gets involved. I don't know. You know, or Scorch. Yeah, you got Scorch. Like say you did like fire and animal, Scorch is involved. Um, you could do kind of similar to that example one. You could do like a nature check for your connection with Scorch and being able to control him for this trick, and then whatever other check you think for the fire, whether that's some kind of save, some kind of maybe you're launching some kind of like fire attack and you roll an attack roll if that's successful or not, stuff like that. So just kind of like ways to think about like what these parts of your trick like are representing like for the checks and stuff. But
Okay,
and you can be a little abstract with it.
let me ask this then. Like this as an example, let's say like I had an act with Scorch where we made it look like I was throwing fireballs at him, so we used like an attack roll. Like how would we do that when the time comes? Like just
So basically, for like an attack roll one, you would basically it would be like you would target Scorch with an attack, and then do whatever like your attack roll is for like what you're casting. So if it's like your alchemical bombs or stuff like that, um, we wouldn't have it like do like the damage part of it,
Mhm.
obviously. Um, but you'd basically be like rolling that attack roll as like, can you hit your mark um,
okay.
for your performance?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to ask Honker. Were you sticking with performance and acrobatics for your 2 checks?
One sec.
Sure. Yeah, I know we just went through a whole bunch of examples that might have gotten your wheels turning.
Okay, I think I'll add animal then
Okay.
to
So
my
fire,
fire.
animal. Okay.
It'll be performance, and all targets within 120 feet make a will save.
Okay. Will save. Okay. Cool. All right. So we'll do that. Okay, and then Braz, you're doing fire and animal. And then for your checks, what are you thinking for that?
I think acrobatics would be good to leave in, because I think we could definitely work with that, especially adding Scorch.
Okay.
And then I kind of like the idea of the attack roll thing.
The attack roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got the attack roll for, whatever fire things you're lobbing, and acrobatics for, kind of representing both of your abilities to dodge
Like
and
weave
weave
and
and,
dodge.
yeah, duck, dive, dip, dot, yeah, all that.
Roll around.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah, I hope those examples help, because I think they kind of lay out the kind of thought process here with these like traits and checks, and there's like there's a lot of little parts, but because I know like initially when we first did this, I think I misinterpreted this wrong with how these things got rolled, but like those examples I think lay it out really well. Like like that dunk, it's like it's a trick he does, and there's parts of it with the will save for the breath, the thievery for the unlocking of the manacles, but it's like that's the trick. It's not like three separate tricks. So I think that's what I got confused on the first time. But
Right.
slowly we're figuring this out. We're 2 parts out of 6 through this entire campaign, and we'll figure out this circus stuff perfectly yet.
Which, speaking of circus, the people we've got added, like that we've collected along the way, newbies.
Yeah.
Are they on that circus NPC list or?
They are. I think I need to add their details. I think I might put them in there.
I haven't looked in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't added their specific details. Actually, let me put some on here. Let me put this in the chat as well, just so that's around. Okay, so Calcec. I think on this list I'll at least put what traits they're adding to this. Okay, so Calcec.
Maybe I'll finally remember somebody's name.
Prop. Beast. Miss Dancer. Aerial. Agile. Beast. Goofy. Water. Magical. Flynn. Fire. Agile. Okay, I'll have to put some more details in on them later, but that's at least what they're adding. Cool. Oops. Okay. Did you get anything interesting on your level 9, Maz?
I have to check 'cause I already forgot.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm now an expert in perception.
Ooh.
I I became trained in nature and I think it was diplomacy,
Okay.
and I gained the feat vandal and foil senses.
Okay. What's the vandal feat give you?
You have a knack for breaking and dismantling things. Putting them back together is the boring part, so you largely don't bother with that. You become trained in thievery. If you would automatically become trained in thievery from your background or class, for example, you instead became trained in a skill of your choice. I chose nature. In addition, whenever you hit with a strike against a trap or an unattended object, you ignore the first 5 points of the object's hardness.
All right, breaking stuff.
Mods make things go boom.
Cool.
That's what we do.
So on that, what are you thinking, or what things are you adding to your trick?
Did you not see my chat?
Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. Do you have yourself an act name for your security?
She goes by Boss, but with 2 Z's instead of S's.
Boss, yeah. I like it. All right.
Alternatively, she could also go by Menacing Moz.
Ooh, that's good.
Okay. Conquer, wait, what did you get at level 9?
Critical success on all will
Oh,
success.
right. That's right. You did say that. All right. Well, then, I guess, Grotus, what are you thinking on your performance here?
So far, I'm typing into Discord, but so far it's called Cheers in a Million Celestials. It's got aerial trait, and he's being launched. The checks are reflex save and deception.
Okay.
Or sorry, reflex save and acrobatics.
You're
For a
saying
second.
acrobatics.
Yeah, reflex save and acrobatics. So he is launched out of a catapult into the top of the tent where he's got to grab a wine glass or a mug and then tumble through the air without spilling, finishing the mug, and then land in a safety net or land somehow in a vat of water without breaking his ass.
Okay. So are you doing like aerial water for the traits?
Yeah, it's aerial water. The checks are, like I said,
The save and the acrobatics. Okay.
yeah, reflex save and acrobatics.
Cool. All right. So it sounds like we're set. And just to make sure I heard that right, was that choosing a million celestials? Was that what it was?
Cheersing.
Oh, cheersing.
Like high fiving because he's drinking, or like, yeah, drink with the gods, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. All right. So sounds like we're all squared away there. We get our circus sheet up here. Okay, so this week our last big show in Escudar. And by this point, like, it's been, like, a little bit of time has passed, and like word has spread around town, of what happened with Celestial Menagerie and the sordid shit that Mr. Zusklight was up to, and how this bunch of clowns from the other circus saved the town from creepy underground lizards and all this stuff. And so, people are excited to come see you guys and, kind of give you a send off for what you have done. So the first thing here is Any... Let's see, where did I write this down? Okay, any upgrades for the circus that we want to get? Drop this in here. So we already did have, from the last time we ran a show, we did purchase a safety net, so that is still around. And that will help with various things, but we do have the ability to... So our prestige is... Oops. Our prestige is 5 at the moment. So anything that has on that chart that has a minimum prestige of 5 or lower, we can buy for the circus. So in terms of permanent upgrades, some of the new stuff we can get is we can get better acoustics. We can get better bleachers. Those are both new to the expansions here. And then as for the temporary upgrades, which we get each time, last time we had beer that could be purchased, but now we can do beer, we can do confections, and oh wait, no, we did merchandise. That's right, we did merch. That's right, there were people wearing our merch. We can still do merch. But now we can do confections as well for temporary upgrades.
We're doing merch again. We gotta have hooded tunics with our logo on it.
Gotta have
those
them.
are gonna sell like crazy after all the shit we did.
Absolutely.
Hooded tunics with like long sleeves, big pocket in the middle, with like our like crazy logo. Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Okay, so let's see. Basic merch, that adds... Ah, that's right. That benefits towards the following show because that spreads our cred. That's right. Let's see. So we got basic merch. We got... Are there any permanent upgrades you want to do? We already got the safety net. Did we want to get better acoustics or better bleachers? If you're wondering what those do...
Yeah, what does acoustics do for us?
So the acoustics, the PCs gain a +1 circumstance bonus to trick checks with the musical trait. And also, after purchasing this upgrade, the role of band leader becomes available to the PCs. So kind of a musical upgrade there. As for the seating, quality seating options generate additional excitement. So bleachers generate 5 excitement for the show. Oh, and there's spotlights. We can get that one as well. Spotlights is a +1 increase to the circus's prestige. And after purchasing this, you can also choose to do a lighting role in the circus. You can be lights guy up in the rafters if you wish.
Oh my god, Maz could totally be Light Sky.
Good.
No, it says find your happiness.
Are we upgrading spotlights? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Safety net.
The spotlight's got to be able to trace bobs around from fake cloud to fake cloud, grabbing the fake drinks.
Cool. All right. Cool. So we're all good on those upgrades. And let's see, for the non-performer roles. So for lighting, so that's you were doing security stuff before Moz. And what that basically did is that if we happened to roll hecklers or scalpers on the circus events, it was negated. Lighting, what that does is it gives a +1 circumstance bonus to deception and thievery tricks. Oh, and in case you're wondering what the band leader one was from the acoustics upgrade, if we did that, is after each trick is completed, the band leader can generate anticipation equal to half of the band leader's level rounded up. So basically, you can play hype music after every trick.
Nice.
But if we build up too much anticipation, then that's bad because you have to match anticipation
Right.
or beat with excitement.
Yeah, like you want to match or there's like that match
Sure.
or over, and matching it is the best. Over is good. Not meeting it is a shitty show.
So a band leader might not be the best unless we can guarantee that we can match the anticipation with excitement.
Yeah, because the hype music will up the hype.
And is that something once you take it, like you choose to use it each time, or can you decide like band leader's not going to hype as much this time?
Yeah, like so with all of these non-performer roles, basically like any of these roles are specifically performed by like one of the player characters. So, Maz, for example, since they seem to like doing these. So whether or not it's like you have it would be if one of you decides to do that or not.
So if we're not doing a trick, one of us might choose to do one of these.
Exactly. Yeah, because like there's only so many slots in the circus. Like there's enough slots that like if you wanted to, all four of you could be doing tricks every single time. But you also have a roster of NPCs to fill in things out. The NPCs can't do the non-performer roles. The non-performer roles are specifically done by you guys if you choose to do so, because it's assumed that the other NPCs have shit that they are doing.
Right.
Got it. So we have a show that we're about to put on.
Mm-hmm.
And we have how much anticipation?
We are going to tally that depending on. Let's see. Oh, god damn it. I accidentally clicked. Okay, generate anticipation. Here we go. We figure that out from however many advertisements we are purchasing to send out into town.
Okay.
And there is also some additional leftover anticipation from the merch from last time.
Okay.
I think I have that written down somewhere. Okay, so last time we had... What's it? 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15, 23, 45, 26, 27, 28, 9, 30, 31, 40, 50. Okay, so we had like well over 50 excitement generated last time. It looks like. And so merch wise, Ba-ba-ba. There it is, merch. Okay, so with basic merch, 25%. That's final anticipation. So you guys already have 12, we'll round up 13 anticipation from last time from the merch.
Okay.
And just to give you like what you like last time with the show that happened last time, you guys generated a total of like 50. Last time you had a starting anticipation of 22, and you generated like 51 excitement. So you blew it out of the water. Like, you know, obviously, like for like a perfect, you would have had to get like 22 and 22, but it was still like a really good show. You got paid well. So you guys can generate quite a bit of excitement.
We should pump up the anticipation into the 50s, what you're saying.
Yeah,
Awesome.
or at least a little higher, like depending on how ambitious you want to be. But yeah, so starting anticipation, we're at 13. Oops, 13. Okay. So for advertising stuff, if we want to add to that, roading and circus. Okay, so there's a couple ways we can generate anticipation. There's one, buying ads. So for example, if we wanted to double that and have like add additional like 12 anticipation onto that, we already have. It's like 150 GP for that. Or you can generate anticipation by doing society checks. So you basically go out in the town and do little like impromptu. I think this is what we did last time to save money.
Oh yeah.
And so if you go out there in the town and do like little performances, being like, "Hey, come to our show, jazz hands," you'll generate anticipation equal to twice the sum of your level plus your charisma modifier on a crit success. You'll generate anticipation equal to your level plus your charisma modifier on just a regular success. So that's a pretty decent way to get some anticipation without having to spend a lot of dosh. So those are our options here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do some of those local performances.
Okay. Who all is going to be going out in the town to kind of drum up some support? Like all of you, just a couple of you?
Well, in this situation, are we able to have like maybe one or two of us go, and then some of our new people that we've acquired to kind of like, hey, look what new things we have. Does it have to be all? Or does it have to be us?
This is PCs only.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely Honker's realm there.
That's Honker's realm? Okay, so Honker's going to go.
I feel like Honker and Grotus are really good at this.
Honker and Grotus.
Yeah, we can do the busking and the public outreach. We're good on the streets.
Good on the streets. Okay. So
Yeah, remember the rap battle that happened?
right? Yeah, we already proved that the streets are ours. So so Grotus, Honker, you guys head out into the town to drum up some support. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to need to roll a society check.
Which is great because one of the new feats I just got is what is it? Incredible improviser. And so if it's something that you're not trained in at all, you can actually get a +4 bonus to it. So I get a +4 bonus to the society check because I have nothing else in it.
Okay. Ooh. Incredible improv.
Trigger, you attempt a skill check using a skill you're untrained in. That's society.
Perfect thing for you to have.
All right. So with the two of you there, Honker, yours was a success, and Grotus, yours was a critical success. So that's going to add. So you're both level 9. And what are your charisma modifiers? We have 18 and 18. Oh wait, no, sorry, 18 and then 9. And then what are your charisma modifiers? Grotus is
+1.
+1. Honker is
+4.
+4. So under 5. Okay. So 27, 32. All right, so you guys generated 32 additional anticipation,
Nice.
which puts us up to 45 right now. Without.
We got this.
Okay, do we want to just leave it? Do we want to just leave it at 45?
Nah, let's buy some advertising, get us up to 55.
Get us up to 55? Okay. So for ads, if we're buying 10, well, there's not one for an even 10, but we'll just call it this one and say 80 GP. All right, 80 GP. I'm not sure who wants to take that out of their pocket or if you want to divvy that up at all. Oh,
So it's 80.
Yeah, 80. Oh, there's actually some.
Grotus will throw in on that.
Hey, maybe we could all just throw in some. Looks like there's some money in the party sheet, though.
Yeah, I just distributed the cash that was in the party sheet.
Yeah, do we all just want to throw in 20 each?
20 each? All right, everybody go ahead and just take 20 out of your pockets. All right, so anticipation is set at 55. All right. So, for the circus events, all right. So our circus event for tonight is that the stars align, which means that the DC for all trick checks decreases by 2. So that's nice.
Oh, lovely.
Let me just write that down. -2 trick check DC. All right. So that's all set. Anticipation is tallied. Okay, so now we got to figure out who's doing stuff where. So we have the opener with 1 trick, build up with 2 tricks, the big number with whoever's our big leading trick, and then the finale with 3. So in terms of people that we've got the usual customers that we've had before. We also have our new folks, Miss Dancer, Oofy, and Flynn for theirs. Then of course you guys as well to fill in where you will. So who do we want to have as our opener for the show?
These the new people we have. Can you remind me what they do?
Sure. So Miss Dancer is a Pegasus, and they does it give me details on what exactly they do aside from what their traits are. Okay, so Miss Dancer is he comes out, he reveals his magnificent wings, and he flies around, and does like tricks like above the crowd, like whooshing over them, that sort of stuff. Oofy is the aquakineticist you guys rescued from the oubliette behind the big top, and he is basically a waterbender, is what he does. He's a waterbender. He can do funky stuff with floaty water. And make it dance before your eyes. And then Flynn is Fireproof Flynn, the living matchstick who juggles flaming knives. And he has specifically requested to please not light him on fire anymore, as that would often be done to him by Mr. Dusklight, and he is horribly scarred as a result. But he is more than happy to do his fire tricks with his knives, just as long as we're not immolating him.
All right.
Do we want to like open with one of our new people?
Yeah, let's let the fireproof guy go, but instead of fireproof, we just call him like fire flinging.
Fire flinging Flynn.
He's fire flinging Flynn. He's
That's
fire flinging. He's fire flinging fun is what he is. We love him.
Oh
Everybody,
my.
welcome Fire Flinging Finn. He's our opener tonight.
Woo! All right. Let's put that in here. Let me write down his. All right, he's level 8. DC 24. That's gone down because the stars align.
Are we able to see the lineup sheet?
Yes, let me get that over here as well. Circus shows are always logistics.
It's easier for me to try to figure out where to put
Yeah, and I gotta go through and take out the stuff from
the last show.
Yeah. Okay, let me just go through and clean this up a little bit. Take out all these old values. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we've almost doubled in level since last time we did a show, because we were 5 last time.
Oh wow.
Now we are 9. And it was pretty much when we first came to Escadar, so. Okay. So, Flynn.
Also, when should we expect our checks from the police department pension plan?
I believe that is what was in the party sheet that I just distributed to everybody.
All right, good. I would have had to go down there and give them a stern talking to.
Okay, and he's got plus 16 to his checks. Okay, so Firefling and Flynn's coming out first. And then for the build-up, we have 2 tricks going on in the side rings. Who do we want in the build-up?
I can go.
Okay. We'll put Crotus in there.
And how many people are in the build-up again?
2. So we're gonna there's 3 rings in the middle, and so you're in one of the side ones, and the other person is in the other side one.
Okay. And then we'll put the waterbender in the other one, I guess.
Okay. So Oofy.
I like that.
And then there's somebody this round, since we have PCs not doing anything, I guess somebody works security and somebody do band leader.
Actually, yeah, that is a good point. With the non-performer roles, if you're not performing in an act, you can do a non-performer role to help out. Let's see, amazing aquakineticist. Let's see.
Okay, then I could do band leader.
Sure. That will help with some gents. So he's plus 16, plus 14. Level 8. DC 22. Okay, and then let's see. All right, the big number. Who is our big act?
We all know that's me.
Of course.
It is. It is.
All right, we got Honker in here for that one. All right, and then the finale is 3.
Okay. Me and Scorch can go in there.
Okay.
Why don't we throw Miss Dancer in there?
Blazing Sparkles. Miss Dancer. '17 was 15. Okay.
Maz, are you doing security or are you performing?
Maz is gonna be just doing non-performer roles. She doesn't like the spotlight.
Okay.
Let's
She is a creature of darkness.
Well, you are a goblin.
Yes, we do have our other like usual folks around. Flamboni Sisters, Featherfall 5, Dwarven Throwers, Hod and Mordain, Eliza Pumpernickel.
Why don't we put Elysia in there, make it kind of animal heavy.
That's true. It is kind of an animal heavy finale.
Let's throw Elysia and Mr. Tickles in there too.
All right, Eliza Pumpernickel.
Now I'll get all of our new peeps in there.
Okay, cool. All right. So gotta scroll through so many of these pages here. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Okay. All right. So up until the big thing, we have band leader Honker going on. And then were you staying on security guard, or were you changing to lighting, Maz?
I think I'm gonna do lighting.
You're gonna do lighting, okay. So any deception and thievery is +1. Oh wait, did I forget? We didn't buy the acoustics upgrade, so we don't have a band leader right now.
Fuck that. How much is it?
Cost?
Oh yeah, didn't we say we weren't gonna do it because we didn't want to make our anticipation too high?
Well, that was until we found out how much excitement we got last time.
Yeah.
That's fair. The price for the come on, just let me find it. Putting on. There we go. Upgrades. Acoustics. 30 GP.
I buy it.
You buy it? Okay. I'll put that in list, and that is a permanent upgrade, so we now just have acoustics. Cool. All right, so we have the band leader who can generate. So the amount of anticipation you can add is half of your level rounded up, so 5. So if you choose to hype music after a trick or after an act, sorry, you can pump up the anticipation by 5 from its current level of 55. So I guess that's a good thing to see if the tricks are going really well and we have a lot of excitement happening. We could pump up the anticipation more to try to even those out. So cool. I think we have everything planned. So I guess what we'll do at this point then is we'll take, since we got all our level ups done, we got the circus all planned, we're going to take our little 10-minute breather here and get, drink, do what you got to do, and then we'll come back and run the show and finish out the last little things of this particular chapter, getting us into the next one, and then we should be good. So we'll see you back here at like a little after 7:40. So we'll see you then. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they gave us this spreadsheet at least to like plan the thing out. Otherwise, this would be a mess. Okay, so the show. We are here. The stars have aligned. There's a -2 to all DCs tonight. The things are looking good. The people are excited for us. There's like um, that buzz in the air, um, over the events that you've done here in Escadar. Things are feeling good. Things are feeling good. And we start out tonight with Firefling and Flynn. The lights come up thanks to our lighting goblin that we have now in the rafters. Well, we did have lights before. We just didn't have spotlights before. Spotlights come up on Firefling and Flynn, and he begins his act. He pulls out from his belt a set of 5 daggers, and he kind of fans them in his hand. They all kind of spread out between his fingers, and he like lets out this like blow on, he, like blows this puff of air on them, and all of them ignite. And let me roll his check for that. All right, he rolled 18. All right, so he didn't meet the DC. Let me get my math thing up. Okay, no effect. So it didn't generate anything. Didn't quite get things off to a good start, unfortunately. But he decides to go on and continue with his trick in hopes that things will pick up a little later. So with these knives now on fire for his second check, he has these fanned out in his fingers, and he flings his hand up into the air, and all 5 of these knives kind of spread out in this arc, and they leave these trails of fire behind them. And he rolls 7, and that would be, all right. He succeeds on that, so he generates excitement equal to his level 8. All right, so these fan out up into the air, and they come back down, and he catches them, and he decides that that is a good stopping point for his trick to start just open off the show. Band leader, are you generating any anticipation, or are you holding off?
Assume that's a performance check.
No, like the way for this, there's no checks for what you're
Oh,
doing.
it just happens. Okay.
Yeah, so it is up to you if you want to play hype music to up the anticipation value more, leading into the next trick, or hold off for now and just keep the anticipation at 55 where we are.
What's our excitement at?
8.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, so that will add 5 anticipation because it's half your level rounded up. So we are up to 60 anticipation. All right, so we move into the second act. The hype music is going on, building up to Grotus coming out with his new trick. What are you doing, Grotus?
Get myself launched up into a catapult, which will launch me into a series of mounted trampolines where he's got to be bounced around. It's going to look like he's just being like, I mean, literally, he is just being smacked around and like falling down a complicated like series of stairs and things. It's just like one big launch into the air, grab a drink, and then oof, ow, oof, fuck, ow, shit, and then like into a wheel. Big painful thing. So it's reflex saving throw.
Okay, and that's gonna be your first check as your reflex.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 32. That is a success. So that generates 9 excitement. Do you continue the trick for another check?
Continue the trick, and I'm going to do acrobatics.
Okay.
Or can I do reflex save again?
You can. You can do those are your 2 options, and so you can choose which one of those you want to do. Whether it's like 3 reflex saves, reflex and acrobatics, all acrobatics. It's up to you.
I mean, does changing to acrobatics reduce that penalty, or?
No. This is still your second check of the act.
Okay, so this will be at a -4 because it's agile.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll put that into the modifier.
Okay.
Shit.
Okay. Yeah, you can hero point that. Sure.
Also, what's the DC? I forgot. I should ask. What's the DC?
Oh, sure. So all of you, since you're all level 9, the DC is 26.
Okay. So yeah, hero pointing that.
Okay.
And putting in the modifier again.
Okay. All right. Still not a success, but that is fine. That doesn't generate.
Isn't it -2 DC and everything, or did you already factor that in? The 26.
Oh shit! You're right. That is so it is actually 24 for all of you. Thank you for reminding me. I applied that to all the NPCs when I typed them in, but I forgot to do that for you guys. Let me do so. Okay, so 24. So that was a success. Good job. Thank you for reminding me of that. Generates 9 more excitement. Do you decide to do a third piece, or are you calling that good?
I think that's good.
Calling that good. Okay. Grotus is off the stage. We have Ufi, the amazing aquakineticist. He comes out with his opening act and rolls for occultism as he... Let's see, so 5... so he comes out and he summons these floating orbs of water, and like water is kind of like intermittently flowing between them, kind of making like funky shapes and such. And with his, he rolls a 19, which does not meet the DC, unfortunately, so it doesn't generate enough excitement for that, but he forges on. And oops. Oh, that is a D10. That is the wrong dice. There we go. Okay, so he rolls a 23 on the second one. So he rolls acrobatics on this one, and or wait, sorry, acrobatics with that would be a 25 actually. So he does pass the check, and for this he dives into the floating ball of water and begins, like, he hangs out in one of them, and then as like water begins to flow to the next one, he like swims along with it through this flowing thing of water into another floating ball of water, and then at last to the final one, and successfully does so. And then he decides to go for a third. With the occultism roll, and rolls a 32, which is a critical success for him, as he only has a DC of 22. And so with this last roll on the occultism roll, as he's floating in this last ball of water, he kind of outstretches his arms, and you can see like all of like the water droplets from all the other ones that are floating around. They all kind of break out into pretty much like singular droplets and all like suck into the one that he's floating in. And it, enlarges in size and then it finally bursts, and like the front row of folks in the bleachers are in the wet seats, and then he kind of lands gracefully in the middle of there. And so this generates 16 excitement, and then he also adds additional anticipation because of the critical success, which adds an additional 4. So we're up to 64 anticipation for the show right now. And that closes out Act 2, the build-up. Honker, are you deciding to do any hype music before you go in for your big number? Are we?
No, I
No.
don't need hyped up.
Okay, Honker, you are up. Your DC is 24. What are you doing?
Well, of course, Honker comes in with his entourage.
Mm-hmm.
We are all polished up, perfect black and white lines on everything. Honker's wearing his ringmaster's hat and his cape and has his ringmaster's staff
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And he comes out and like we're all in the little clown car that he has, and he's like pedals it out and we all jump out, and as we're doing that, he's like, oh, I hope you all enjoyed and the trips out of the car and kind of stumbles a little bit and throws up, as he does so, he kind of you see he's like his arms are kind of waving side to side, but then out of his sleeves come like the juggling clubs, and he's juggling them a little bit as well.
Okay.
And then the entourage is assisting in that. Maybe one of them like jumps up and he juggles them as some of them are juggling shit.
Okay. What is your first check that you're going to roll?
That would be performance.
Okay. Roll them up. $34. That is a critical success. Very nice. So that generates 18 excitement, and then also increases the anticipation by 5. So we're up to 69 anticipation. Nice. All right. Do you continue with another check?
Most definitely. So I will, as I'm trying to straightening myself out and I stop stumbling and we're still juggling and stuff, I'll say, welcome to the Circus of Wayward Wonders, where you can see things not found anywhere else, and the ringmaster isn't a crazy bitch. And
The crowd
as I'm
laughs.
saying this, as I'm saying this, I've got like little lights on the juggling clubs, and I'm maneuvering them in kind of a particular way. So as such, to enthrall everybody within 120 feet of me.
Okay, go ahead and do your will save for that one. Did that roll? Is it coming through?
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to push it or voice activated that I just wasn't pushing the
Oh,
button.
oh, good.
So with enthrall, it's they roll a will save against my DC.
Okay.
It is a 22.
So
you would roll against.
For this, like, since it's like part of like the trick DC is 24, and like all of the rolls that happen are you.
Oh,
So basically, like your will save roll is like determining the success of this.
Okay, so I
enthrall.
just roll a will save.
Yeah,
and
roll
not
a will
use
save, and that is like
yeah,
acting
no
as
problem.
your enthrall of the crowd. All right, so 30. So that is a success. So that generates an additional 9 excitement. Okay. All right, are you going on with a third one or not?
Yes.
Okay.
So now that they're enthralled, I continue telling my jokes and honking and juggling and whatnot, and the entourage is like running through the crowd, kind of doing their a little bit of acrobatics and juggling and whatnot, and picking the pockets of the people that are enthralled, and I think that would be a thievery check.
Okay. Well, so you only have those 2 checks that you can choose to
Okay,
do.
so then that would be a performance check. Because
Performance
then
check.
what they're doing, rather than a thievery check, is they're definitely picking their pockets, but like they're doing it in such a way where like they steal something from them, and they like pull it out from behind their ear and like laugh, and like everybody's fucking pumped because they're enthralled and they don't have a choice anyway.
Okay. Cool. Go ahead and roll the performance. All right, and this
hero point that.
Okay. And this does have a -10 right now because of the
Yeah.
All right. So that would be, so I don't think it would be the +19, it'd be +9, yeah.
Yeah, because +19 is just my default.
Yeah,
so it'd be
okay.
like 13.
13. Okay, yeah. So that is hey. That is a critical failure. So some people are noticing the hands in the pockets on the performance. So with a critical failure, let's see, that decreases excitement by half the trick's level. So that means excitement goes down by 5. Okay. So just to let you know where we're standing right now with excitement. And so currently our anticipation is at 69, and our excitement,
Nice.
as of the end of the big number, is 72. So, given that, so we're, as it stands, we are already over anticipation, but we can try to shoot for spot on equality if we wish to. So, going into the finale, are we hype musicking?
Yeah, because our excitement's higher than our anticipation.
Okay. So that will bring our anticipation up to 74 going into the last finale of this show with Blazing Sparkles.
Okay. Well, Scorch
No
has
pressure.
a matching collar to my crystal shirt that I wear.
Okay.
We'll both be really sparkly. But we'll start out with like kind of like ducking and dodging each other, doing flips and stuff,
Okay.
while it appears that I'm throwing fireballs at him. So do acrobatics.
Okay, roll that up. All right, 32. That is a success. All right, do you proceed to do another check and continue your trick, or are you calling it good there?
What is it, -4?
Since you're not agile, it's -5, so it's -5 and then -10 for the third.
We'll go ahead. We will try one more time, just kind of going all over the place.
Yeah, things are feeling good. You're feeling like excitement is higher than anticipation. You feel like you can take some risks. All right.
Okay, I'll put the modifier in there.
All right, 20. All right, that second part of your trick does not quite go off, but that doesn't mean anything goes down. That just nothing happens. It doesn't land very well. All right.
We'll leave it.
We'll leave it there. Okay. So we move on to Miss Dancer, the flying Pegasus, who comes swooping out from the backstage with an acrobatic fly over the audience real low over everybody here, and rolls 19, so 29, 36. Another critical success.
Nice.
All right, so they dazzle the audience as their hooves dance directly over their heads, and that also increases our anticipation a little bit more, up to 78. All right, and they decide to continue with their trick. All right, and so on their second part of their trick, they land in the middle ring here of the floor, and they begin doing a kind of a strange little dance number. You've never seen a horse perform a dance number before, but it's somehow kind of doing so and incorporating its wings into it. And it's weird, but it's working. It's working. So they rolled a 26 on that, which is a normal success. And they decide to call that good with their trick after the end of their little dance number here. Which brings us to Eliza Pumpernickel and Mr. Tickles. And she comes out with her snake, kind of almost leading off the end of Miss Dancer's dance number, and decides to do one of her own. And she's kind of almost doing this like tango of sorts with this snake, who has kind of interestingly coiled himself up. So it kind of gives him the shape of like a person, and his little snake head is up on top here, and the rest of his body is just kind of coiled in like a person shape. So it looks like she's dancing with like a snake guy. It's kind of neat.
Cute.
Right? Let's see what she rolls here. All right, so she rolls C12 plus 11, so
It's funny
23.
in my head because I'm seeing Hiss from Disney's Robin Hood.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. That is a great image to go with. So she successfully does so with this. And at the end of her little tango number with Mr. Tickles here, she kind of like spins him out. And in the process, like he also kind of unravels himself from being this like false lizard person. And like the way she unravels him is kind of like in the direction of the audience, so this like snake is like unraveling directly towards the front row to try to like intimidate them a little bit. And she rolls, let's see, 10 plus 6. All right, and it doesn't quite meet the trick DC, so she gets Mr. Tickles back, and she decides to call that good for that act. And to close out the show, band leader, do you wish to do any anticipation to finish us out?
What's our levels at?
Excitement is at 109 and anticipation is at 78. So we're not going to be able to equal it.
Yeah.
We're good. Like you can just, this is all for flair kind of at this point, because you're not going to equal 109.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. All right. Good show. All right. So we come out of this with 109 excitement for our grand total to 83 anticipation. So just to give you an idea of kind of what we're able to generate now. And I think that also, especially with the, like that kind of shows how we can kind of try to like have a little maneuvering of them to try to balance that out depending on how the show's going. So that's neat. Let's see what our payout ends up being. So all right, so our prestige is 5, and our excitement was 109. All right, so we get paid out 114 GP.
Nice.
So I'm going to add that into the party sheet here, and I'll just go ahead and distribute that amongst the people here. Sweet. All right. Another successful show. Good job, guys. All right. And that closes out the show in Escadar. So, Maz, you're up there in the lighting. And you are coming down from the rafters here, coming down the ladder. And you get... as you come down the ladder, you see that there is someone waiting there. There is a goblin waiting here for you. And the clothing in this picture is not quite accurate. But she is wearing a kind of a nice buttoned up kind of tailed suit coat. But she has this crossbow that is like attached to her back. And she has a hat as well. It's got a bit of like a point to it on the front and a feather stuck in it. And she approaches you, Maz, and says, "Oh, hello. You work with the show, right?"
Sure do.
Wow. I thought when I came over here, I thought the Celestial Menagerie was what is in town around here, but you guys don't seem to be them, but that was a pretty good show.
Yeah, we put on a great show. Way better than the Celestial Menagerie.
I think so. You guys did a great job. Well, the reason I'm here is I came from the town of Carrick on the Isle of Kortos across the strait here. We were looking to go talk to the Celestial Menagerie and offer them a chance at a traveling tour around the Isle of Kortos, but they seem to be gone. And well, you're here, and your show was pretty great. My employer wants to know if you would be willing to take us up on that and come over to the town of Carrick and begin a little traveling tour around the island.
I gotta talk to the rest of the circus, but I think we were looking for a new place to set up shop anyway, so it's a definite maybe.
Okay, well, do you want me to I can just hang out around here until you make a decision. I'm not really going anywhere until I go back over to Carrick.
Sure thing. I'll go talk to them right now.
Oh, before you go, I probably should introduce myself. Sorry. And she pulls a hand out of her pocket here and kind of abruptly like shoves it out in front of you. Osho Hayes Shot.
Nice to meet you. I'm Moz.
Great. Well, I will wait right here. And if anybody causes any trouble, don't worry. I'll take care of them. And she kind of pats her crossbow on her back.
Moz is gonna go out to the tents and stuff to find everyone and talk to the rest of the performers.
Okay. Do you guys all come back to her together or discuss amongst yourselves before going back to her?
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
I have no problem with it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So you guys head back over to Osho here as a group. And she's just kind of here. She's kind of fiddling away with some of the gears in her crossbow here when you come back up to her. And she's like, "Oh, all of you. I saw some of you in the show. You guys all run things around here? Is that how it goes?" Nice to see you again, Maz. Have you made a decision?
Damn right we run things around here. What decision?
Well, I come representing Opper Vandy, who is a leader over in the town of Carrick, an influential man, and he had sent me over here to try to find an act to come touring in the Swordlands, the western part of the Isle of Kortos. And, well, initially we were going to go try to talk to the Celestial Menagerie, as we thought that's what the show going on over here on the Isle of Arran
Say
was.
no more. We'll protect you from your mistake you couldn't make anymore, as we already have. The Isle of Kortos is a place we were headed with no ulterior motive.
Well, wonderful. Well, I will go ahead and make sure to let Mr. Vandy know to be expecting you. And whenever you make your way over to the Isle of Kortos with your troop, stop by the town of Carrick and we'll get things set up for you for the tour.
Carrick, indeed. Sword Coast, Kortos.
And she kind of tips her little pointy feathered hat at you all and slings her crossbow back on her shoulder. And she kind of goes skipping up the path with the little coattails on her suit coat, kind of bouncing behind her. All right.
Well, gang, we've done it again.
Of course we have.
So we should probably break up camp, fuck out of here before they figure out how soon this town will quickly collapse into all these various cavernous ruins beneath it. And then go to some other place that perhaps has steadier foundation. And then get more resonant echoes. Find the throne of Abaddon. And either save the world or become as gods and eat it.
And hopefully they have a better law enforcement so we don't have to pick up the slack.
Oh, no kidding.
Or advance further towards the entropy where there is no law and we can become as gods and eat the world, like I said.
Grotus, how much of that alcohol did you drink while you were performing?
It gives me my powers, and you try falling down that many staircases.
All
But
right.
you didn't even fall down staircases.
Again, it gives me my powers. And the resonant echoes, and we will become as gods.
All right.
All right. So in the ensuing, day or so after the show here, you spread the word to the rest of the troop that we are packing up and moving to the Isle of Kortos, the home of the kind of capital city of, of Galarian, really. But more opportunities await. And the first stop is the town of Carrick on the northwestern coast. And you guys are able to get passage. You guys are in a port town here in Escadar. And so finding a ship that's traveling the short distance across the strait to the Isle of Kortos is no issue at all. There's always plenty of ships going between those two, that being a major location. So within a few days' time, you guys are sailing across the strait and are coming in to the town of Carrick, which is another coastal town. And as you guys are coming in, you do see, just kind of looking out across the landscape of the Isle of Kortos, you do see a kind of strange looking tower, a strange but familiar looking tower. As you guys are coming into Carrick, it looks like to be a long ways off, but it has that familiar kind of ziggurat looking shape to it, as the Aeon Tower on Arran did. And you can't quite make it out very well, but you feel like you see on like a hill even further inland and maybe a little bit peeking out from a forest inland, 2 more of these as well. You just see the tips of these strange ziggurat structures. Seems like it'll be a bit of a walk inland to get to them, but there are several here, it looks like, to investigate. And you guys successfully make landfall in Carrick. And with that, we will call that good for there, and we will pick it up in Carrick next time as we start Chapter 3.
All right, we're gonna bust down the Bellspring Tower and the Old Forest Tower and every other fucking tower.
Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming, and let's see, next time we're on, looks like the 2nd of February. So we will see you then. Otherwise, for some of you, I'll probably see you in Valheim shortly. Finishing our roof.
Nerds.
Nerds. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Good gaming. See you guys.
All right. Well, and to those of you out there watching, thank you for coming as well. We finish out our 2nd chapter. And we're going to head out and raid. Let's see who's on. We're going to raid Steel Helm. Who says they're doing Small Saga. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll find out. See you next time.